Well, I can't believe I'm actually going to say this, folks, but it's time to eat crow. Because last night's episode of Doctor Who scored the largest rating that the show has done to date. I'm shitting you. I'm shitting you. No, it did the worst rating yet. Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Quelle surprise! Last night's episode, which was mental health, scored the lowest rating of Whittaker's run of Doctor Who so far, and will most likely score the lowest rating of New Who's history as Capaldi's Doctor, and this is just fact, so fucking deal with it, people. Is pulling in much better consolidated ratings, which is the ratings that you go by. You go through the overnights, then the plus 7 days. That gives you the consolidated. Capaldi's doing better than Whittaker. Facts! And as we all know, facts do not care about your feelings. So all the Whittaker crazies that are going, no, she's doing fine. She's not. She's doing the worst. Get over it. So the consolidated numbers for the previous episode, episode 6, which was god awful. They'll be in probably tomorrow because it has to go through the 7 days now, so that'll come through probably tomorrow. But as we can see, episode 7 has scored a whopping 3.81 in the overnights. Going by the rule of thumb that Whittaker's Doctor usually pulls in approximately 1.1-ish million in consolidated, as opposed to Capaldi, who pulls in around 1.7 to 2 million. Then we have, this is likely going to fail to hit 5 million in consolidated. Episode 6 might just creep over 5 million, but I've also got a feeling that it's not. I think one thing that we should look at in this video, last week I did a deep dive into Capaldi versus Whittaker, because I was showing you that Whittaker started 1 million viewers better than Capaldi at the start of their runs. And by this exact time, in both of their runs, Capaldi's doing 1 million better. So there's a 2 million person swing in that in itself. Capaldi's pulling in a lot more in consolidated than Whittaker is, and that's why he is actually proving to have the better ratings out of the two. And the reason why Capaldi's being used as the example is Capaldi was used as the reason for change with Doctor Who, and yet the change is worse. But what it also shows, something about consolidated versus overnight, is overnight is more your hardcore viewer, is more inclined to be somebody who must see Doctor Who immediately. I can't wait to see it, I gotta seize it now. That is more inclined, not absolutely, but that's more inclined to be that viewer. Whereas the consolidated, you could say, is more of the casual fan. Yes, there's going to be a proportion of hardcore who simply can't watch Doctor Who when it's live, could be work related, could be all manner of different reasons. But the majority of consolidated will most likely be a more casual viewer. Yeah, I want to watch Doctor Who, but I don't have the time to watch it there and then. I've got other things to do, better things to do. But I'll catch it during the 7 days before the next episode, so I'm up to date. And this is why I believe we are seeing the drop in consolidated numbers versus Capaldi's. Because when your casual audience get driven off, that's where you're going to see it more than on your overnights. Whittaker's overnights are better than Capaldi's, but his consolidated are better because more people are watching within a 7-day period versus Whittaker. So the casual viewer was quite happy to tune into Capaldi to make sure they're up to date, but the casual viewer is not tuning into Whittaker in the same numbers at all to keep up to date. They're watching it there and then, and they're sort of being done with it. And that's why I think we have this swing in the consolidated numbers. Now, there are various ways to consume TV nowadays, but the iPlayer is the big one. That is the big one right now. And when you're not watching, you're not contributing. It's as simple as that. So we see this big drop-off in Consolidated with Whittaker, and it's easy to see why. I have done plenty of moaning and groaning, ladies, and complaining about the casting, the writing, and all that sort of stuff. I think it is awful. I mean, god-awful. But I think one of the biggest turn-offs, particularly for a casual viewer, I'm trying to look at this from a broader perspective, is I think this iteration of Doctor Who is really mean-spirited. To me, Doctor Who has always been a fun show. I'm not, when I say a massive, massive Doctor Who fan, I mean, to others, of course I will be. I've got, fucking mugs, and I've got sonic screwdrivers, I've had some figures here and there which are squirreled away. So yeah, maybe I'm a bigger fan than most. But to me, Doctor Who's always just been a fun romp. A slightly less serious sci-fi show. Yeah, it's got its serious moments, don't get me wrong. But there's always this light-heartedness to it. It's more of adventure through time and space than it is anything else. And that was very prominent in Tennant's run and very, very prominent in Matt Smith's run, where Matt Smith was certainly more target-orientated to a younger audience, almost like a child audience. But at the same time, there was plenty there for Mum and Dad to like. Mum could like Matt Smith, and Dad could like the Amy Ponds and the Claras. And all that sort of stuff. It catered for a large, broad demographic. But when you lose that, and you become this mean-spirited show, because for all Moffat's faults, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Moffat is crazy good. I think he's crazy intelligent, and he wrote, or has written, to me, the best Doctor Who shows that there's been in the current era. When you look at episodes like Blink, etc., the Madame Pompadour one, all those ones, they are phenomenal. They are really, really well written. I think the 11th Hour is also a very, very well-written show when he took over as the showrunner with Matt Smith. But I think sometimes Moffat just got a little bit too clever for his own good. And things got way too convoluted and confusing, and he didn't quite know where you were with him. But it wasn't through lack of passion from Moffat. It wasn't through lack of not trying. You could see that he was, I've got this grandiose idea and it's maybe it just didn't translate well to the page, or as well as it could have done to the page at times. But you could never question Moffat's, I think, dedication to wanting to create different and interesting and entertaining Who stories. Chibs, I think, is a nasty, egotistical, condescending narcissist who enjoys talking down to people. You may have seen yesterday, I didn't call it Episode 7 Review. I called it Lecture 7 Review. Because it doesn't feel as if I'm tuning into a fun show anymore. It feels like I'm tuning in to some nasty vicar or priest giving me a sermon. It feels like I'm tuning in to be talked down to be condescended. That's how it feels with Doctor Who. I don't feel in any way, shape or form that Chibnall is looking to entertain me. And I legitimately don't think Chibs gives a shit about ratings. I don't think he cares at all. I think he has one goal and one goal alone, and that is to put his ideology into Doctor Who. And that's it. That is it. And if he loses people along the way, don't care. Because I'm sure his validation bubble, which he's no doubt in with the BBC, they will all be happy to stroke his ego, pat him on the back and tell him how wonderful he is and what great work he's doing. It's great that you're turning off your audience. You're running off ists and isms. by the droves. Well done. I mean, fuck that we're at the lowest ratings that the show's actually been at, which are lower than Capaldi's in the consolidation era. Just deal with it, Whittaker weirdos. Yeah, don't worry about that. Yay. And I just think that this is the big reason why he has to go. But I don't think he will. I think they will keep him on for this one more season. I think they're contractually obliged to run another season because of BBC America. So I do think they'll keep him on through the next season with Whittaker. And I don't think the show's going to get any better. I don't think it's going to get any less woke than it is now. Because it is literally... And the thing is, though, it's not even subtly. It is literally the diversity bingo card now. That's what we're seeing. And just making sure he ticks the boxes, while, of course, having the lecture of the week as the episode. Instead of something fun and interesting. I actually gave Chibs a little bit of credit once, because I said, a lot of people criticise it, I actually quite enjoyed dinosaurs on a spaceship. And the reason why I like dinosaurs on a spaceship, personally, is I quite like Rory's dad. I thought he was a real fun character to have. This complete fish out of water. Fish out of water characters are always fun. And you had this great setting in space, of course. You brought these couple of other people along. You had the dinosaurs on the spaceship, which in itself was weird. And then you had the complete tonal shift at the end with the real nasty guy. That really nasty guy that was, controlling his zoo, his menagerie, whatever you want to call it. And the nastiness of him and how the Doctor almost did something that he might have regretted. So, I actually gave that show a bit of credit. That Chibnall doesn't exist anymore. That Chibnall is long gone. It was as if that Chibs had to adhere to a BBC doctorate or had to adhere to Moffat's doctorate. No, it's got this show's gonna have the fun. It's gonna have that zaniness. It's gonna have that little bit of pata, or maybe, of course, have that little emotional twist, which we're very good at. But running it on his own without that direction, he's absolute fucking shit. And worse than that, he's nasty. 3.81 million overnight, the lowest so far. Kel Surprise. In consolidation, it's unlikely it's going to hit 5 million. The lowest of Whittaker's run to date. And it's so easy to see why. Get rid of this guy, get rid of this doctor, rebuild. But you won't. You won't, because your ego and your narcissism, and this is just the BBC in general, will always shine through. Congratulations. Continue to kill off beloved franchises in the name of wokeness. So I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch live streaming. Links are in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.